You're listening to the Legally Exhausted podcast.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome. We're here at the FJA Masters. I got my good friend Rudy from Synergy Settlements here. I'm going to introduce you to him today, and he's going to tell us all about the cool work that he and his company do. I've used you guys on like one or two cases. I wish I could use you on more. I don't get all the big ones here. I don't get the big cases, but I had your company did an amazing job. I think it was like $150,000 in Medicare lien, like a money that they say, hey, we want 150,000. And at the end of the job that your team did, it was like $500. I couldn't believe. I was what? I couldn't believe it. And I had another case, similar situation. It was kind of a sad story. The guy, he was 30 something. He had the mentality of a 10-year-old. He got hit by a DUI driver, and the guy ran over him again, like backed up over him. And so he had all this Medicare money that he owed. And you guys, again, got it down to like pennies compared to what they were asking. And it was just incredible. I couldn't believe it. But before we get to how amazing the company is and the cool things that you guys do, I'd love to hear a little bit about you and how you got started with them maybe and stuff like that. So just, introduce yourself and tell us maybe where you grew up and how you got started with the company.
First, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
My name is Rudy Rodriguez-Chomat, to those who don't know. I was actually born in Miami Beach.
Hey.
Grew up in Miami Beach, born and raised, lived in Miami Beach for 30 years.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Archbishop Curley Notre Dame.
Okay.
It no longer exists. It got torn down about 3-4 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
My elementary school, St. Joseph's in Miami Beach, got sold to a charter school. It's now Matter Beach Academy.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't have any alma maters left in elementary or high school. I have FIU though.
Yay, go Panthers.
I'm a 3-time graduate of FIU.
Wow. Okay.
Bachelor's in Communications, Print Journalism, Master's MBA, and a Master's in Human Resources Management.
Okay.
So
cool.
I have a wide array of knowledge of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And football and basketball.
And I love sports. I covered sports for a long, long time for the Miami Herald. And
wow.
I was in a law firm for 15 years.
Okay.
So I was a paralegal, office administrator.
Wow. And
in my last position in a law firm, I realized I needed to make a change for myself. And I had a family, married with kids at the time. Well, I still have the kids. I'm remarried since then, but
amazing wife. I met her.
Awesome wife, my wonderful wife, Gabby. And by the way, she dresses me. So that's why I look like I look now.
That's why you always look so good.
In the past, it was a struggle. But I got into sales on the outside sales area. I got into recruiting.
Okay.
I worked with an amazing recruiter who ended up hiring me to work for her and run her attorney division. From there, I was there for about 2.5 years. Her name is Felice Solomon. So if everyone needs a job, Felice Solomon Search Group, they do amazing, amazing work for law firms.
Okay.
And from there, I went to Thomson Reuters. I was at Thomson Reuters with Fine Law.
I met you at
That's
Thomson
when we met
Reuters.
when I was at TR.
Yeah. Okay.
Working with super lawyers,
right.
Digital marketing for law firms. I was there for 3.5 years covering the territory. It was basically just north of downtown Fort Lauderdale to Delray.
Okay.
And then I got a phone call from Synergy. Had no idea what Synergy was. And I realized that there was a guy who was at Fine Law that I worked with in California who went to Synergy about 10 months earlier.
Okay.
So I called him up, had a few interviews. I joined Synergy Settlement Services in August of 19. I've been there for now just over 4 years. It's an amazing, amazing company. I'm the vice president of strategic partnership. I handle all of South Florida and the Treasure Coast. We are designed to help attorneys, PI attorneys, and their clients maximize their recovery through the different services that we have, our lien and medical bill resolution services, Medicare compliance services, and medical cost projections, which are like a life care plan, but a light version. So that's how I got to Synergy, and I love every moment of it. I actually enjoy the networking events because I work from home, actually.
Okay.
So when I get in the field, I love being in the field. It makes me feel alive.
Okay. Just seeing people because you're normally at home. Yeah.
And to see, you don't realize how badly some people get hurt in these accidents.
Right.
Most people don't realize it. They'll they'll be on the expressway and they'll be like looking, oh my gosh. But then you see the damage and the hurt and the pain. I mean, I've had cases where the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh. We have stories of kids, which are the worst ones.
Terrible.
You know, you have adults that get into accidents, but when you have children that have no control over any of this stuff, you see what's happened to them and the way that we can actually help make their lives better, because the lien holders don't care about you.
Right.
They want every dollar and they want to put it back in their pockets. They don't care who's been hurt. And our job is to help reduce those bills. And we don't get paid if we're not successful. That's very, very rare. Probably a handful of times I've had in 2,000 cases. Right. But yeah, we're here to make it better, help you make it better for your clients.
Yeah. So for instance, let's say a case settles for $1 million, settles for $1 million, serious injuries. Those people usually have a lot of bills. So if it's someone with Medicare, Medicaid, maybe they have health insurance, they might have paid a lot of money out. And, you know, they pass these favorable laws that say, you know, if there's a recovery from you pay us for health insurance, you know, you paid into Medicare. But if there's ever a car accident or an injury case and there's a settlement, we want our money back. And which is kind of weird, right? Like I pay for health insurance. Why would I have to pay you back? And you guys step in and you guys use different tactics. I'm assuming they're all legal. You don't go bust up people's houses if they don't take a reduction, do you?
That should be an idea. I like that
That's
idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
There. I'll start bringing them in.
But no, they're all legal tactics.
Yeah.
And
and you guys use like obviously different strategies to get these bills reduced.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the people automatically assume that in, like, for example, in ERISA plans, that they don't, their documents govern the documents govern. So you have fully insured and you have fully funded and self-funded and fully insured. Okay. Self-funded are the ones that are governed by docs. So that's when you work for American Airlines, Costco, Publix, any big company. Fully insured are small companies. They're insured. They call Blue Cross, Blue Shield. They call an agent. Agent comes down, sells the insurance to the company. You give it to your employees, right? So those are by state law. The self-funded plans are the ones that are the bane of your existence, where they say, screw you, we're not reducing, deal with it. They reduce. It's just a fight. We average a 56% on ERISA plans overall. Okay.
56% savings to the client.
Savings to the client.
So if the lien is 100,000, on average you save about 56,000, something like that. Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's overall. In self-funded plans, it's about 40%.
Okay.
The average that you see in law firms is about 5.
Wow.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
On a good day. And to get there, it takes time. And you don't have that time. That's the problem. You
guys are quick. I'll tell you that. You guys were quick. We tried handling the one guy's case for a while, and then I finally gave up. I said, I can't figure this out. And you guys got it done in like 30 days.
And that's quick. Yeah. Typically, it's 90 to 120.
He's setting expectations.
I set expectations. It's 90 to 120. There are times where it can be faster. There are times it can take a little bit longer. But if you have that fully insured plan governed by state law, they'll give you a reduction real fast for a third. And what happens is the attorney, I don't know if they just want to get rid of the case and because their client's calling for money, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is you just paid the maximum amount allowed by state law for that lien. Okay. You got nothing. Okay. You got screwed, for lack of better words. And we have lien experts. All of our lien experts came from Rawlings, from Optum, from Conduit, from Equian, from the different major lien holders in the country. Okay. And they have told us, they have that inner knowledge of their offices, that they call certain firms golden goose firms, because those firms will pay the maximum allowable by state law. Wow. And not realize it. They think they're calling that rep and they're saying, can you help me out here? Rep will say, yeah, I gotta check with you. Let me get back to you tomorrow. I gotta speak to my supervisor. Come back the next day and say, man, I just went to bat for you. I got you this reduction. They didn't speak to anyone. They already had the authority to reduce it. Wow. And that is where we are. I mean, we know this. Our team knows this. The reality is lien reduction is a time suck for law firms. Firms do not realize how much money they are spending, not physically spending, but in time.
Right.
If your paralegal's working 5 hours a day doing lien reductions for non-LOP, non-provider, not the Kairos that you work with or, those LOPs, they're wasting time. They're not moving cases closer to the end. So, I know of firms where paralegals are spending 5 hours a day on lien reduction alone. And these are paralegals that are managing the case from front to back. Of course, there are some firms that have departments for this because they're very, very large. Even then, it's a waste of money, a waste of resources.
And you guys know to pick up the call and pick up the phone, dial this number, get that person. You
Absolutely.
guys know the pressure points to apply to get the reductions.
Absolutely. And the thing is, people assume that we're calling every day. You can't call every day. It's like when you're chasing down the girl, if you call her every day, you look like you're desperate.
Right.
In the beginning. Maybe she wants you to do that. But you don't want to look like you're too eager, because if you're too eager, they know you are having a problem.
Okay.
They know this stuff already. They've been doing this for a long time. Attorneys who call every day, you're not going to get the best deal. So you have to give them some time to respond. So it might be once a week. It might be once every 2 weeks. The reality is they have 30 days to respond. So if you send a letter today, you're not going to get a response tomorrow.
Right.
Not until you get actual responses and you're having back and forth communication and negotiation will you start seeing the response time pick up. But overall, you got to give it some time, because if you rush into it, you're not going to get a good deal.
Right.
They're going to know that you're desperate to close the case, and they're going to stand pat on whatever they're offering and say, this is what it is. Now, lien holders don't like us. They will try to go around us. When firms retain us, they will call the law firm directly. And we always tell our clients, please just forward them back to us. Because if you engage in conversation with them, like anything, God forbid, an insurance carrier called one of your clients. They said, yeah, that's a good deal. I'll take the deal. Oh my God, what a disaster that is for, they took 10 grand when you could have gotten them 100 grand.
Right.
And it happens. I had it happen to a client of mine. This was their first time really using us. They called the paralegal, not even the lawyer, the paralegal directly, and said, we're not going to give them a better deal than we're giving you.
Wow.
And she took the deal on the phone without the attorney's approval.
Wow.
But she's already made that decision.
Yeah.
And we had offered like 20,000 less.
Wow.
And that's money.
The deal.
And that's money out of their client's pocket.
Yeah. And you guys basically work on you guys have a hybrid model, right? You work on contingency.
Yes.
But also you'll work on an hourly rate, I think.
No, it's contingency on lien and medical bill resolution. Okay. And we have flat fees for Medicare compliance and medical cost projections.
Okay.
But anything lien and medical bill, resolving those types of things, that is 15% of the reduction or 15% of the net to client, whichever is less. So if you have an upside down case, we're capped at no more than 15% of their take home. If you have $1 million settlement with a $100,000 lien, it's 15% of the reduction. Okay. And it's designed to help your client, help your client. Because end of the day, we're going to get a large enough reduction that would make up the difference of our fee than what the firm typically is going to get. I've had cases where firms were banging their head against the wall for months. Yeah. Call us up and we get a 70% reduction. Wow. Inside of 90 days.
I believe it, man. It happened to me. I couldn't.
And it's like, what did you do? Well, if we told you what we did, then we wouldn't have a job. But at the same time, this is all we do every day. Yeah. And our team was trained by these companies.
These same companies.
And they know exactly how to, and in some cases, they know the people directly. They used to work with them. Oh, okay. So they know the buttons. The reality that that a lot of law firms don't know is those people are comped by making you pay.
Oh, the more you pay, the lien holder, the more it gets in money, the more money they get paid.
Yep.
Wow.
They're commissioned.
That's incredible.
They're all commissioned.
Wow.
So they're commissioned to make you pay. And that's why they're hard up and they're tough and they make it difficult. Now, we don't litigate cases. So we don't ever want to get to the point of litigation because then we can't help you. However, they'll make threats and say, well, if you don't want to take this deal, then we'll litigate. Okay, let's litigate. But they're not going to litigate because they don't want to litigate either.
It costs
them more money.
Yeah.
So they'd rather come to an agreement. I don't think I've had one litigation matter in 4+ years.
Wow.
I know they come now and again. They happen more with hospital bills with litigation.
Talking about in Broward County?
Oh, yeah.
That lady's unacceptable.
Broward and Baptist. Baptist Hospital in Miami is notoriously bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't happen very often. So it sometimes what it is you litigate once, a law firm litigates once, and then the hospital starts to act right for a little bit. And then you start seeing the numbers start going back up. And then, okay, we got to litigate it. Someone has to litigate again to check them again. And it happens.
Right. Yeah.
So, but overall, I've not had that happen personally. However, it's just it's the art of war, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because you're going head to head, and who's going to blink? It's a poker game.
Right.
Right. But we handle Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicaid, FEBA, VA, TRICARE, disability, hospital bills, private insurance, medical bills, and ERISA. ERISA is the biggest one.
Yeah. That's most plans. ERISA.
That's most plans because those are employment plans.
Right.
If you have a job, you have the definition of an ERISA plan.
Right. And, to just go back to a good point that you made, I find that 90% of my time is taken up by 10% of the cases.
Yep.
And so on certain lien cases, it's like they don't want to resolve it, even not necessarily a lien, but like I'll usually have like a doctor who's being unreasonable with an LOP. Well, I feel they're being unreasonable. They feel that they're being reasonable. Obviously, it's somewhere in the middle is the truth. But at the end of the day, some of these cases, they take up the case manager's time. They don't get to work on the easy, quick, churn them and burn them, get money in the client's pocket and move on case. They're stuck with the one or two difficult cases. So what I like about your company is you guys will take that case,
of course,
flip it, turn it around and say, hey, we saved your client 50% on this or whatever, 40%, 50%, depending on the type of claim. And that's what I like about it is it doesn't cost me anything extra. In fact, it saves me money and the client saves a ton of money and everybody's happy. It's a three-way win. The only person probably not happy is the lien holder because you guys are on the file. But that's what I like about it is it as an employer, I don't have to hire 2 or 3 people to do one job because 10% of the cases are taking up all of the time. That's the advantage that I think is with your company. And honestly, the fees are very reasonable. Considering the amount of money you guys save for the clients. The 2 that I had, I was floored when I said, what? I said, man, I felt like I was getting like a VIP experience because I know you. I was like, man, this guy really took care of me on this one. And it was a tremendous job. I could not believe it. Like, what are some of the things that you guys are finding? Because one thing that I find, for instance, I saw they had my clients like gyno appointments on the Medicare lien. And I go, that has nothing to do with anything. What are some of the things that you guys see that you got maybe just like a quick thing, just so somebody's watching, an attorney's watching, they're like, oh, now I know what to look out for or something. And now,
Well, unrelated matters are notoriously on Medicare liens.
Okay.
They will bundle everything up where that elderly person went to the doctor to have their blood pressure checked.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the car accident. They went to get checked for something, they got a shot for something. Nothing to do with a car accident. So they will bundle everything up, throw it on a lien, and it's your job to find and pick out the unrelated stuff.
Right.
And find what's unrelated. We know all the codes. We have the codes. Our team is well versed in on these codes. So they know exactly what is unrelated. And that's why it's very important that the attorney tells us what exactly the injuries are, because I know in a complaint, you'll put every injury into the sun, but that's not the real injury potentially. Like it might be a shoulder injury. If they went for their foot Well, that's not related to the accident. They may have just had a foot problem because they're old.
Right.
So Medicare does that a lot. I mean, ERISA plans do that a lot, but Medicare is the worst when it comes to that.
Okay.
So unrelated is a major part of what we do. we get unrelated stuff removed all the time. Keep in mind, Medicare specifically, Medicare A and B specifically, we do not charge for procurement reductions, which means their fees and cost reduction. We don't charge for that. So a lot of times the lawyer will tell me, well, I always get that reduction first. I said, no, you don't. It's automatic. We'll get it off for you. We don't charge you for it.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but so I'm an attorney. I charge 33% of whatever I settle the case for. So if I have a Medicare lien for 100,000, let's say, you're telling me that automatically off the top, that 1/3, because technically the client's paying me 1/3 to collect money for Medicare. So you're saying off the top that comes right out off your contract because it's basically a guarantee, and then you guys work further from that.
Yes.
So is that wow? That's incredible.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
There's a formula for it specific to Medicare.
Okay.
What the exact numbers I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
But it's based on fees and costs. It's called procurement reduction. It's basically a fees and cost reduction. So after that reduction, then we get to work.
Wow.
You know, so there's all kinds of arguments. There's hardship arguments. There's the value of the case. The case is worth $1 million, but you only get $100,000 because that's the policy. That changes the ball game. So all of these things matter, and we get reductions. I mean, goodness. And there's also the refund process, because a lot of times you'll see many firms are, it's just a normal thing. The apple closest, the lowest hanging fruit to go get, cases closed.
Okay.
And this difficult headache case gets moved. And next thing you know, it's under a pile. And we missed all the deadlines for appeals with Medicare. Well, now you got to pay the lien.
Okay.
Which no one wants to have to do. And
can you guys fix that or
yes.
no?
That's the Medicare refund process.
Okay.
So you do have to pay the lien. The last thing you want to have happen is it gets sent to the Department of Treasury.
Oh, so hold on a second. So you're saying if you blow the deadlines, like personal injury lawyer trying to handle it on their own, bungles it up, blows the deadlines, you have to cut the check to Medicare, but you guys can still get some of that money back.
Get the money back.
Okay, because that's what happened to me on that second case.
Yep.
I didn't know what was going on, and the person in my office who was working on the reductions
made a mistake. It got stuck in the bottom of a pile.
Didn't want to deal with it. And stuck it at the bottom of the pile. And that's when I said, I can't figure this out. Just call. And so we had to cut the check from the settlement. We had to cut a check to Medicare or IRS or somebody. And then you guys said, yes, send the check and we'll take care of the rest. And then boom, the rest of it was fixed. We were good.
The worst part is when the check is bigger than the settlement.
Oof. Luckily I didn't have that problem. We got a good settlement. Yeah.
Because there's not an attorney I know that wants to have a $50,000 settlement with a $200,000 Medicare lien. I got to get a check for $200,000.
Wow.
It's happened.
Oh boy.
Now, I don't know what that paralegal says to that attorney, or if it's a combination, they both screwed it up. Happens.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, the attorney's responsible.
At the end of the day.
That, yeah.
But at the end of the day, we will go back and get a refund. You'll get a huge refund.
Wow.
So it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
It is, but it is a headache. And if it goes to the Department of Treasury to that level, now you have a problem, because now your client's benefits will stop.
Wow. So let's say, for instance, I had a guy with a metal plate in his head. He was getting government benefits for a while.
Yeah.
We went to settle his case, and I said, let's set up a special needs trust. Do you guys do special needs trusts?
I have partners that do that.
You guys have partners that do that. Okay. So he didn't want to do that. And then immediately they stopped paying his government benefits.
That was Medicaid then.
Yeah, it's probably Medicaid.
Medicaid.
Yeah. He was younger. Yeah, and they stopped paying. And he freaked out, and we had to get him set up. Is that so? What you guys are involved with that as well? So,
I have partners that deal with special needs trusts and structured settlements, annuities, financial planning. I have a great guy that I work with, Sean Pendray with Pendray Financial.
Okay.
Worked with him for a number of years, but he handles stuff like that.
Okay.
And we do, so you can call me and I'll just bring him right in.
Okay.
So it is one of those things where if you don't take care of that, you will lose your Medicaid benefits. You can't have more than $2,000 in your bank account as a single person on Medicaid, or $3,000 as married.
because the government's paying you this money, and they basically want to make sure that it sucks to say, but they want to make sure that you stay poor.
Yep.
Because if you get a large settlement, the first thing they want to do is, hey, we've been paying for your rent, we've been paying for your food, and all this. We want it back. So you guys help with that as well.
Correct.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the Medicare, but back to the Medicare refund program. If you ever have a mistake in your office, don't worry. The world's not over. We can get a refund for
Call Rudy.
Call me.
Call Rudy.
Because we can take care of that and get you a refund. You just have to cut the check first. Then we can get to work and getting that refund back for you.
And you guys come in as a help to the law firm. So you're not there to poach the case. You're not there to tell the client, hey man, lawyer screwed this up.
No.
You guys come in, you're like the cleanup crew.
Yeah.
You fix all the mistakes. Because that's what happened to me on that one case. I had no idea. I was actually doing that case pro bono.
Wow.
It was a $10K policy. And I think we settled the guy's case for an extra $100,000. The guy who hit him had some money, and I think he was Russian mob. I don't know. He said he would pay $100,000 after back and forth negotiations and a mediation, and we took it because I thought the guy was going to kill us. You explain to me how a guy is flipping 3-4 houses at the same time, but he's driving a 1995 BMW, and he hits my client once, and then decides to back up to see what he hit, and ran over my client, who was on a bicycle, in front of the paramedics. I think the guy was intentionally trying to just whack him at that point to get rid of him and move on. But the paramedics were there. It was a DUI situation. It was unfortunate. Really nice guy. He had special needs issues, and he had five law firms before me. Took his $10K check and then sent it back to the carrier
I've seen that.
His $10K check, and the guy had all these issues. And I really took it pro bono. He really sad situation, but. So to get back on you guys come in those tough spots and help the attorneys. And you're not there to tell them, hey, bad job or whatever. You guys just come in, clean up the mess, and the next thing you know, we're good. We're gravy.
Man, I've taken 10K policies with 8 liens.
Wow.
With 8 separate liens. And we're paid for each one an admin fee on those types of cases. But we're brought in because the lawyer is looking at this like, I can't even take this check.
Right.
I can't even take this case.
Right.
Like there's cases that get turned down because of medicals.
Yep.
And they're saying, well, what the heck am I supposed to do with 100,000 in medicals and 10,000 in a policy?
Right.
We deal with those every single day. I mean,
you get those taken care
we're in
of.
South Florida. Yeah. Half of the drivers in Miami-Dade don't even have insurance.
The state statistic is 1 out of 5 people don't drive with insurance, but I don't think they're factoring in Dade County.
Dade County is half.
It's got to be 2 to 3 people. Yeah, 2.5 is what I was thinking. Without coverage, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5 without coverage, any type of coverage.
And if they have coverage, they have the garbage coverage that covers nothing.
Yeah, right.
The full coverage that's not really covering anything.
Yeah, full coverage that doesn't cover anything. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can say that Miami-Dade is probably the biggest area of the 10K policy, the 1020 policy.
Yeah.
Broward second and Palm Beach third.
If it wasn't for Uber and Lyft, there would be no orthos, pain management, taking LOPs in Miami.
That's funny.
Because I remember there was a time there was 1 or 2 guys in Dade County doing pain management ortho work on an LOP. And then when Uber and Lyft came out, they had these big $1 million policies. James River was one of the first. They paid very well compared to the normal people we know, Geico, Progressive.
Yeah.
But now that Uber and Lyft are out there and they got all these DoorDash, blah, blah, blahs, whatever, rideshare, they're all moving down there because there's an ability. Because like you said, normally everybody's got a 1020 in Miami. It's the strangest thing. Just it's too expensive, I think is what it is. They raised the rates in Dade County. And
I mean, the rates for car insurance are crazy. And then on top of that, I mean, that new mass tort bill was atrocious.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about that for days and how it's hurting you and hurting
the drivers.
Hurts the drivers.
Yeah.
It's
only help the insurance companies, right?
And I mean, and people don't even know a fraction of it.
Right.
So it's, I wonder what's going to happen now up in North Florida with the hurricane that hit.
That was mostly you're talking about Hurricane Idalia? That was mostly flood damage from we do a little bit of homeowners, and that was mostly flood damage, which is like FEMA. So even the regular policies, but I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of wind damage too from the storm. But I think there was a lot of flood damage because they were I think in 100 years they hadn't had a storm or anything like that. But it's interesting with the insurance stuff because the only people that benefited was the insurance companies. You know, when you talk about tort reform, you're talking about, the doctor, you know, the OB doctor who's scared to deliver babies because they don't want to get sued.
Yep.
All right, let's do something to protect that person. Fine. You're talking about insurance companies. They're just for-profit entities. It's just you change out the mascot or whatever.
And you're paying for the coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I fighting with my carrier
Right.
when I've paid? Like, let's be real. Insurance is just in case.
Right.
I'm 45 years old. I haven't been in a car accident in 20 years.
I don't know, man.
Knock on wood. I probably have one else. Hey, if I have one here at the Breakers, let a Rolls Royce hit me. You know, but I haven't been in a car accident in 20 years.
Yeah.
I haven't had to use car insurance in forever. I'm paying it though.
Right.
You know, like anything, homeowners insurance. How many times has your roof been blown off?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a hurricane in forever, a real one.
Yeah.
You know, that
in this area.
Yeah, in this area. You know, we haven't had one in quite some time. So, and even then, I mean, I lived through Hurricane Andrew. We had a tree in our pool, and that was a Category 5 hurricane.
Yeah,
because our houses were built in the 50s out of concrete, you know, not plywood.
Yeah,
but it's frustrating because it has impacted our clients. It impacts what cases you can take with the comparative fault,
right,
or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it impacts. Gosh, on the negligent security side, adding the defendant to the verdict form, like it and
a lot of changes.
A lot of changes. So I, you know, we're here to help the injured victim. We're here to help the attorney and make life easier for you guys, because at the end of the day, we had this year, we had a $6 million lien reduced to nothing.
Wow.
That, and this was I believe it was a child. It was one of our clients up in DC. Child got badly. I believe it was a child. So don't quote me, but it was a $6 million lien.
Wow. And you guys handle cases nationwide?
Nationwide.
Okay.
So anywhere in this country, we have someone in that area.
Okay.
You know, so if you have anyone watching, nationwide, we cover it. I cover South Florida, Treasure Coast, but we do cover nationwide. We are based in Orlando. And it is, to see the results that I've seen. I've personally had a case where it was a $1.8 million lien reduced to $20,000.
Wow.
I mean, we saved that. I mean, the settlement was $2 million on that case.
Wow. Do you know what the issue was on that? Was it the fact that the case was maybe worth like $100 million or something like that?
That's typically part of it. You know, I had one where a woman was in a hospice type situation for about a year on a medical malpractice issue. And the settlement would be, I think that one was about $3 million. And we got that lien reduced from 1.5 to about 20 grand as well.
Yeah. You guys do tremendous work. That's for sure.
And that one, and the crazy thing about that one was the woman died 4 months after we closed that case.
Wow.
So it was one of those things where, I mean, her daughters, obviously.
The family's going to inherit
that. But
wow.
It was.
Did she die from the malpractice?
Yeah.
Or wow.
And the crappy part about it was, if she had died prior to, it would have hurt the case.
Oh, okay.
Because the case had been settled. It was a matter of reducing the lien.
Okay.
And the case settled 4 months before. If the case had not been settled yet.
The lien case or the underlying case?
The malpractice. Okay. If the case had not been settled, their offers would have gone down big time.
Wow.
Because she passed away.
Wow. Okay.
Because part of what it is the reductions go into future care.
Oh, I gotcha. Future care.
So,
that's right.
You know, she still had care, and she had, I mean, so many bills. I mean, that was a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
So there are differences on certain, like Medicare Advantage is supposed to follow the rules of Medicare A and B. They don't. So that in that case, procurement reductions don't apply. They're supposed to give them. They don't. They fight everything on that. Okay. So we do charge for those. But on Medicare A and B, and typically things that are statutory, there's a common fund, I believe, in Florida. So if you have a private insurance plan, there is a certain max that they're allowed to take. So anything to that max, we will never charge. Okay. So if the money, let's say the max they can take is 70 grand and the lien you send me is 100. The first 30 will come right off the top. We don't charge for that.
Okay.
Because it's what's right is right. It's and again, this is just about knowledge. I was a paralegal. I didn't know everything. There's not an attorney that knows everything.
Right.
And just like you rely on experts to reconstruct accident scenes, you might, but I don't think you're going out there with a measuring tape to measure where like how the heck did that car end up on top of that tree? Well, unless you had it on video, you're sitting here like, I have absolutely no idea. So you have to hire people to do that. You have partners that handle that. The same way you get doctor experts. We're experts and we deal with this every day. So
this is your niche, and that's what you guys are great at. Okay.
And it is something that, our founders who founded the company, we just passed 15 years.
Awesome.
15 years ago. Thank you. They saw something that needed to be fixed. They were in the structured settlement, area. And actually our CEO, he actually is an accident victim himself. He was hit by a truck.
Wow.
On a bicycle.
Okay.
He was on his bicycle.
In the Orlando area?
In Orlando.
Right? Yeah, I heard about
He was in the hospital for a long time, had complete facial reconstruction.
Wow.
His face was shattered. I saw pictures of this. It was awful. He got hit off of his bike by a pickup truck and flown into a tree.
Wow.
The fact that he lived is amazing. So he views this from not just as an attorney, it's viewed from, I live this.
Right. At his core,
I live this. This is my life. And that's what it's all based on. It's like the insurance companies, these lien holders, it's like they're all working together to screw the people.
Right. Like the bodily injury carrier, they want to lower the settlement. The lien company wants to get as much as they can get. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the injured person's getting squeezed from both angles.
And trying to explain this to someone who's not an attorney and doesn't work in the field, they're sitting here saying, what the heck are you talking about? I have health insurance. I pay for health insurance. You're telling me that I get in an accident and I go to the doctor because of this accident. I got to pay my health insurance carrier back? Then why do I have health insurance?
Right.
It's like, it's something that's very confusing to people.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. You can repeat it 1,000 times. They still won't understand it. And, obviously there's tons of people that don't have health insurance either. They end up in a hospital and that bill is crazy high. We deal with hospitals all the time. Jackson Memorial, Aventura, Delray, what is it? Longwood and Fort Pierce. I think that's
Longwood.
They're a terrible one. St. Mary's, I think, is in West Palm. Baptist.
You couldn't pay me if the ambulance was dropping me off at Longwood. I go, keep going, drive somewhere. Keep going.
Baptist Hospital in Miami still operates on snail mail.
Wow.
They don't take email. They don't take phone calls. They don't take any of that. They want it certified mail, and then you have the card back, and they'll say, "Oh, we never got it." It's designed to make you pay them.
Right.
So we deal with these hospitals on a daily basis. It's nothing new for us. Look, it's going to take the best thing to understand is if you want to resolve it fast, pay the lien. But if that's your goal should be to look out for your client.
But you guys honestly do quick work. Like you guys know who to call, what to say, and get it done. And it's over and done with. Like, I'm not going to call you on a $500 lien, right?
No,
That's nothing.
I will tell you
a big lien.
But that's the thing that people don't know. Any lien over $1,000 we can handle.
Okay.
Any lien.
But is it worth it for you guys?
It's not about it being worth it for us.
Okay.
It's about it being worth it for you and your client.
I just don't pay those $500 and $1,000.
Well, if they're a debt,
I'm joking.
If they're a debt, you don't have to.
Okay.
A debt you don't have to pay.
Okay.
Now, do you want them calling your client? Saying you owe us this money and following them, bothering them forever.
Yeah.
They don't even report it to the credit bureaus anymore as far as those medical debts. They're not reported the same as they used to be. Yeah. Years ago, you'd see people's credit reports with medical debts all over the place.
Right.
You don't see that anymore. But the debts, you don't actually have to pay. Now, most people don't want to deal with them, so they want us to take care of those as well. But anything $1,000 and more, we can handle them.
And these liens, what's the punishment if you don't pay the lien? I know what
for
it
an
is.
attorney?
You tell me. Yeah.
Well, that's malpractice.
Well, it's
isn't it?
malpractice. I think with Medicare, I got you're on the hook
for Medicare?
Yeah.
Oh, double damages.
Yeah.
You could be sued by Medicare.
Right.
And they'll hit you for double damages.
Yeah, because there was an insurance company that they knew about a Medicare lien, didn't pay the Medicare lien, and the Medicare sued the insurance company, sued the law firm, sued the insured, the person with Medicare.
Double damages. Medicare is double damages. So you better take care of Medicare. It's a problem. You have to take care. I have a case right now actually with a firm where they have a Medicare lien and they have an actual ERISA lien as well. They have two liens.
Okay.
The ERISA lien's like $1,800. The Medicare lien's $30,000 plus. The settlement's $30,000.
Wow.
Medicare wants their money. She can't disperse because there's still another lien out there.
Right.
Medicare's being unreasonable. So we're dealing with it now for them.
Wow. And you guys are going to...
We just got it. And so, yeah, we'll deal with it.
Okay.
And it'll be fine.
Cool.
I mean, I've dealt with upwards of 2,000 cases in 4+ years. I think 10 we haven't been able to resolve.
Wow. That's a pretty
good batting average.
That's a good batting average. So
I'll take it.
Rudy, thanks for being on the podcast, man.
I
really appreciate you being here, educating the viewers about what it is you guys do. Any lawyers that are out there that need Rudy's info, please reach out to him. Rudy, how can people look into that? How can people get a hold of you?
So you can reach me at 954-655-8205. You can also email me at rchomat, CHOMAT, at synergysettlements.com, SYNERGY, settlements.com with an S at the end. You can also hit me on Instagram, Rudy_Synergy_South Florida. And
we'll post a link.
I work with upwards of 300 law firms in South Florida. You name the firm, and I probably work with them at some point, or someone that has worked with me.
Yeah.
I have tons of references and recommendations, many testimonials and results.
I've seen those testimonials. You're big on Instagram.
I try. And, Instagram is big now because you get bombarded with emails of nonsense, I'm sure, every day.
Yeah.
But you respond faster to Instagram.
Yeah.
Because it's in your hand.
Yeah, well, I delete the app on the phone. I download it and delete it. Download it and delete it because it's so addictive.
It is crazy how much quicker I get responses on Instagram posts.
But I did message you and I'm like, Rudy, I need you on a case, and you got to me right away.
I mean, and I'll reply wherever you reach me.
Yeah.
Come to Pompano Beach. I live in Pompano. You look up the tax record. You can find my house. But we also deal with Medicare compliance. So if you have Medicare compliance issues, there's something called a Medicare expert case evaluation. This is really basically if you have a client on Medicare or Medicare eligible who has future needs. If they need future care, you need to cover yourself because Medicare doesn't play that game. You need to and cover your client because the last thing you want to have is them lose their benefits. And of course, medical cost projections, which are basically future damages. If you have a case with a $75K policy and up, and the insurance company is messing around saying, "Oh, here's $20,000," and the case is worth a lot more, we have our medical cost projection report. $2,500. It'll increase your settlement probably to $75,000.
Okay.
Puts more money in your client's pocket, puts more money in your pocket as the attorney for fees. And if you have any questions, again, 954-655-8205, rchomat, CHOMAT at synergysettlements.com. And if you forget all of that, go to synergysettlements.com and you can find my bio on there and all my information.
Awesome, Rudy. Appreciate you being on the podcast.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Legally Exhausted podcast.